everybody, it's Katie from Ray & Company Face Painting and Body Art and the Ray & Co Insiders channel. In this video, we are going to be doing a on-the-job kitty, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a beginner's tutorial and great for anybody who is just starting their kit, is doing volunteer events, is looking to get into face painting as a hobby, etc. So let me show you some of the supplies we'll be working with today. I have 90-gram containers of white and black. So this is tag regular white and tag regular black. I just picked those up in reverse order, but you get the idea. And then I have a small Mr. bottle, cheap, something you can get at your local big box store for $1 or $2. And then some white holographic cosmetic glitter. I've also got some sponges here. We will be using some high density face painting sponges today. I prefer these teardrop ones over the half rounds, although I use them both pretty interchangeably. But if you had to pick one, go for the teardrop ones. We're also going to be working with the Silly Farm Paint Pal Classic Brush Collection. I love this brush collection for beginners because it's just versatile and it's relatively affordable. So I think it runs between $25 and $30 depending on where you get it. So it comes with a 3/4 inch flat brush, a filbert brush, which they call the big drop brush, a nice petal brush to make flower petals, and then it comes with 3 round brushes, a number 4, a number 3, and a number 1. In terms of paint, I do have a larger selection of paint over here that I use with my normal kit, but we are going to replicate something like this 12 color palette that actually, you can't see it here, but it actually does come with white and black. So you wouldn't have to get those larger containers, but it would include that. And if you want to snag this guide, How to Build Your First Face Painting Starter Kit, you can head over to my website at rayfaceart.com to get recommendations on supplies and suppliers, vendors, brands, prices, all that good stuff. All right, so let's get started. I am going to go ahead and load up a teardrop sponge. This one is well loved. It's clean and sanitized, but it's stained. And I'm using my Mr. bottle. Let's see, I'll switch over here. So I actually have some pink in a loose container here. So we'll go ahead and we're going to do the reverse of what I did for the other one. So we're going to do, the tips of the ears are going to be pink. And then we'll come into this blue. All right, and I'll show you we'll blot it on my arm. I have some white on there from another video. It's pretty wet, so I'm just going to blot it on my arm here. Okay, and we'll switch over to our face. Okay, so essentially what we're going to do is, this is why these teardrop sponges come in so handy. They make great ears sort of right off the bat. And this is a plastic practice board, so sometimes if my sponge is too wet, it doesn't cooperate very well. So I'm going to take the heel of my brush, or my sponge, and just do a little forehead here. And then we'll go around the outside of the face. I just switched it over. So we'll do pink on the outside this time. And we'll do that over here as well. Just lay down some color. I'm going to flip the sponge over to get the back side, the clean side, and just blot this. And you can do that on the job as well, just to get a nicer blend. And just like that. We'll bring some of that blue in by the nose. And to save on time, we'll go ahead and just leave it at that. But you could, so the difference between the two, so I'll go back over here, is that on this tutorial, or on this face, I did some pearl white on the muzzle. But if you were to make this design quicker, you could just put a color block down just like this and use that. The color blends really nice into the skin, so you don't necessarily need the white. It's just kind of a nice to have. But when you're doing full face designs in more of a free to the public setting, I'm just wiping off my hands here, speed is really a priority just because usually the lines tend to be long. So we'll just do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my number 4 round brush into my black. This was Tag Regular Black. And we'll just start doing some outlines. So for the ears, I just like to come up and down a little bit and then down. So I got 3 strokes for the ears. We'll go up and down. Same thing over here. And then for the middle of the forehead here, sometimes I'll just do some flicks to do some hair, or I like to sometimes do just like a little curly cue and then some hair like this. Whoop. Just like that. And it can be kind of rough because it's hair, so it doesn't have to be like perfect line work in terms of crisp points and stuff like that. If you have time and if the child is old enough, using your best discretion, you could come up here just under the eyelid and do some cat eyes. But I usually only do this for the older girls, just so that, if they're not, I don't want them to be rubbing their eyes and stuff like that. So I usually just use my best discretion on sort of the age of the child, on how much paint coverage I use here on the eyelids, and then certainly any line work around there as well. If they're going to be flinching and things like that, then I steer clear of that area. All right, so for the cheeks, essentially what you can do is I like to start out with a point. We'll do that on either side. Get my brush a little more wet. And then I'll do a curve. Bring that in, maybe another point, and then maybe like 2 more curves. Just like that. Oops, and I just hit the camera. Sorry about that. All right. So for the nose, what I like to do is I just like to go up, down, up, something like that. And then where it goes up, so I kind of try to do it on the sides of sort of the ball of the nose. I like to just do some light, whoa, that one was too big. Some light little flicks. Okay, never mind that one, way too long. Something more like this, or check out this one. This one over here, much better proportion. Okay, so if this happened on the job, I would just erase it with a baby wipe, so we'll probably do that. And then I do a small little flick down the middle there. And lately, I used to draw like a muzzle line around here, but I don't know. Lately, I find that I like it better just keeping it simple. It's not only faster, but I just feel like it looks better in my opinion. So I just do dots. I'll do 2 rows of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I always count when I'm with the kids too. So we'll do something like that. And I think that basically wraps it up. So let's fix that nose. And essentially you just erase it all the way down to there. just give it a little flick. Something like that. Sometimes working on these practice boards makes it a little bit harder. Just the way the consistency is versus the way it is on the skin, but they are super handy for practicing and doing tutorials and stuff like that, and sketching out and blocking out designs and things like that. This particular practice board is made by Sally Ann Lynch, which you can find her on Etsy, and then some of her boards are available on some of the face painting shops and stuff online as well. Okay, so there you guys have it. This is a great quick beginner tutorial for basic kitty. Sometimes I will put a bow up here in the ears if I'm feeling, up to it, and add a different color to it. It really just depends on what my line is looking like. You can save some time by, you could put white on the muzzle, or you could save some time by not putting white on the muzzle. And it really is just up to you and how your event is set up, and if it's super busy and it's free to the public, something like this is still going to make the kids really happy. And especially if you add some of that white holographic glitter, or if you have other fancy glitters, that always helps sort of smooth things over. But there you have it. Again, if you want to start your own sort of face painting kit, you can check out this How to Build Your First Face Painting Starter Kit on my website at rayfaceart.com/learn. You can find me on Instagram at rayfaceart. And otherwise, thanks for watching the tutorial, and I'll catch you guys next time. All right, take care.